What if the monsters of legend were more than just myth? From the darkest trenches of our oceans to chilling whispers of ancient cultures, today we're diving deep into the unexplained. These aren't just spooky stories told by sailors. Some of these creatures have real-world evidence, sightings, and even video proof. Welcome to No Chill Nature. And today we're counting down 12 mythical creatures that could be real. And trust me, when we get to number 5, you'll question everything you thought you knew about our oceans. Let's begin with the monster that haunted every sailor's nightmare, the Kraken, Leviathan of the deep. For over 800 years, Scandinavian sailors told stories of the Kraken, a tentacled monster so large it was mistaken for an island. They said it dragged ships under with whirlpools and shredded men with suckered arms. Medieval maps even warned, "Here be monsters." But it wasn't all superstition. In 1857, Danish naturalist Japetus Steenstrup gave the Kraken a name, Architeuthis dux, the giant squid. With eyes 11 inches wide, almost the size of a human head, these deep-sea predators remain nearly impossible to study alive. Their bodies are soft and fragile, often torn apart when brought to the surface. But in 2006, Japanese researchers recorded one attacking bait at 3,000 feet deep. The footage showed a muscular, aggressive predator, not the slow, passive blob many had expected. And in 2019, Norway filmed a 12-foot squid lunging at their camera, proving it wasn't just hiding, it was hunting. Imagine what lurks even deeper. Giant squids can grow to 43 feet, but rumors persist of a colossal squid up to 60 feet long with swiveling hooks in its tentacles. If that's true, the Kraken wasn't a myth. It was a warning. Sea serpents, the snake kings of the ocean. From Viking longships to 19th century whalers, stories of sea serpents have haunted ocean logs, sinister, coiled shadows as long as a ship, eyes glowing above the waves, bodies writhing like smoke. In 1734, Norwegian missionary Hans Egede described a serpent longer than our ship, with a head that rose out of the sea like a man. It was no drunk tale, he wrote it in a church document. One of the most credible accounts happened in 1848. The HMS Daedalus, a British naval vessel, documented a 60-foot serpent gliding beside their ship for 20 minutes. It was witnessed by the captain and several officers, trained men of science. What they likely saw: the oarfish. The oarfish is a real-life sea serpent, with a ribbon-like body that can stretch over 56 feet. Its silver skin reflects light like a mirror. Its red dorsal fin ripples like a mane, exactly like ancient sketches of sea dragons. It lives thousands of feet below the surface, coming up only when sick or dying, fueling ghostly sightings throughout history. And here's something wild. Oarfish are believed to sense seismic shifts. In Japan, they call it Ryugu no Tsukai, messenger from the sea god's palace. After oarfish sightings, earthquakes have followed. Was that folklore, or the ocean sending a message? The Lusca, the beast of the blue holes. In the warm tropical waters of the Bahamas lies a network of deep sinkholes called blue holes. Beautiful on the surface, but deadly underneath. Locals whisper about the Lusca, a half-octopus, half-shark beast that drags swimmers down into the abyss. Its victims never resurface. But the myth holds clues. The blue holes connect to vast underwater cave systems, making them perfect hiding spots for ambush predators. Some scientists suggest the Lusca legend arose from rare sightings of enormous octopuses, like the 7-meter Pacific giant octopus. Here's the creepy part. Octopuses are not just smart, they're alien-level smart. They can unscrew jars, mimic other species, and even solve puzzles. In 2017, divers in the Bahamas recorded something massive pulling a reef shark into a blue hole. It vanished instantly. The footage never confirmed what did it, but it was stronger than a shark. And let's not forget, in 2002, a US Navy sub reported an object moving at over 200 knots underwater, far faster than any known marine animal. The Navy called it an unidentified submerged object. Locals said it was Lusca. Ningen, the polar ghost. Far from the tropics, in the icy Antarctic, a new sea monster has emerged, not from legend, but from classified reports. Japanese whaling crews began reporting sightings in the 1990s of a massive humanoid creature, 60 to 90 feet long, white as snow. No eyes, no face, but unmistakably alive. They called it the Ningen, Japanese for human. One ship's crew claimed they tracked it on sonar for 30 minutes before it disappeared beneath an iceberg. Another said it looked back at them. Skeptics say it's a misidentified whale or iceberg, but leaked photos showed something different. Arm-like appendages, and in one, a human-shaped face beneath the ice. Even more suspicious, Japan's government allegedly restricted access to some of these waters. Several alleged whistleblowers say images were confiscated. Antarctica remains one of the least explored places on Earth. And if the Ningen is real, it may not be alone. What else sleeps beneath the South Pole? Mermaids, the beautiful lie. Mermaids appear in nearly every oceanic culture, from Africa's Mamiwata to the Japanese Ningyo. But these aren't Disney mermaids. They're seducers, sirens, killers. So why do so many cultures describe the same thing? A creature with a woman's torso and a fish's tail, often luring men to their deaths? In the Caribbean, enslaved Africans spoke of mermaids living in freshwater springs. In Zimbabwe, divers claim to still lose people in rivers locals say are mermaid guarded. Science attributes early sightings to manatees. But can manatees sing? Can they mimic human speech, as some stories suggest? In 2013, Animal Planet aired a mockumentary called Mermaids, The Body Found. It was fake, but it triggered thousands of calls from people claiming to have seen real mermaids. And here's a kicker. In 2017, on an Indian Ocean island, fishermen found a washed-up creature with webbed fingers, small breasts, and a fish-like lower body. No one could identify it. The samples mysteriously disappeared. The bloop, the sea titan's cry. It was the loudest underwater sound ever recorded. In 1997, deep in the South Pacific, hydrophones picked up a sound unlike anything before. Low, organic, and colossal. It didn't match any known species or geological event. It sounded alive. They called it the Bloop. Recorded off the coast of Chile, the sound traveled over 3,000 miles. For comparison, blue whales, Earth's largest animals, can be heard over 500 miles. The bloop was at least 5 times louder. Some scientists suggested collapsing ice shelves, but the audio profile was more consistent with an animal call. And the sound's origin? Suspiciously close to the coordinates of Arlier, the fictional city of Cthulhu. In 2016, a similar ultra-low frequency sound was recorded near the Mariana Trench. Once again, unexplained. The ocean doesn't just hide creatures, it hides giants. The devil whale, Moby Dick, was real. Long before Moby Dick, legends told of the devil whale, a massive white beast that would pretend to be an island, then destroy entire fleets. These weren't fairy tales. In the 1800s, a real albino sperm whale named Mocha Dick haunted the coast of Chile. He survived 100 harpoonings, sank ships, and left men screaming into the sea. He wasn't unique. In 2021, a sperm whale was caught on drone video attacking a killer whale pod. one of the few animals known to do so. Sperm whales can dive over 10,000 feet, use sonar blasts strong enough to rupture a human's eardrum, and have been found with squid beaks the size of hubcaps in their stomachs. Situs, the ancient titan of the sea. Before the Kraken, before Leviathan, there was Situs. In Greek mythology, Situs was the ultimate sea monster, so colossal it was sent by Poseidon himself to devour entire cities. It was Situs that was meant to consume Andromeda, chained to the rocks, until Perseus arrived. But was Situs really a myth, or a misunderstood megafauna? Ancient mariners didn't have submarines or drones. They saw only the surface, massive shapes rising and falling, sometimes spraying mist or roaring like thunder. Some modern scholars believe Situs could have been inspired by sightings of prehistoric whales like Leviathan melvillei, a now extinct predator with 14-inch long teeth, larger than T-Rex, and a body longer than a bus. Fossil records show these monsters ruled the Miocene seas over 10 million years ago. Massive jaws, carnivorous instincts, and the size to swallow a human whole. Could oral tradition have preserved a distant memory of these giants? And if so, was Situs not just myth, but ancient eyewitness reporting? The Loggerfle worm, Iceland's Loch Ness. Monster deep in the foggy highlands of Iceland lies Lake Loggerfle, cold, still, deceptively calm. But beneath that surface, legend says, slithers the Loggerfle worm, a serpent said to stretch over 300 feet, capable of coiling around boats and yanking them into the icy depths. The first written account dates back to 1345. That's nearly 700 years of consistent sightings, from farmers, travelers, and even soldiers. It's described as part dragon, part eel, with a head like a horse and the movement of a python. In 2012, a viral video surfaced showing a long, undulating form gliding under the lake ice. It was blurry, but eerie. Local officials declared it authentic footage, not edited or fabricated. Skeptics say it's debris. Believers say you can't debunk hundreds of years of eyewitnesses with one theory. What's compelling is this. Iceland sits on a volcanic rift zone, meaning the earth beneath the lake is constantly shifting. Underwater vents, geothermal pulses, and magnetic anomalies could disturb deep-dwelling creatures, or worse, awaken them. Could the Loggerfle worm be a relic of prehistoric serpents, a freshwater descendant of ancient marine reptiles? In Iceland, they don't ask if it exists. They ask when it'll rise again. Aspidooney, the island that eats ships. Imagine this. A crew of sailors, exhausted and sun-scorched, spots what looks like a small island in the distance. Lush. Still. A place to rest. They row ashore, set up camp, and light fires to cook dinner. But then the ground shakes. The island begins to move. And just like that, they're gone. This is the legend of Aspidooney, a mythical sea creature so massive it was mistaken for an island. In medieval bestiaries, it's drawn with sailors standing on its back, moments before it sinks. Some describe it as a turtle, others as a whale the size of a mountain. But here's the twist. Giant leatherback turtles, the largest in the world, can weigh up to 2,000 pounds. Some marine biologists believe there may have been larger, now extinct species. Fossil records also reveal the archelon, a prehistoric turtle over 13 feet long. Its shell could carry a small car. Is Aspidooney just ancient exaggeration, or a memory of a true leviathan that once ruled the surface? When the sea offers you land, beware. It might just be hungry. Umei Bosu, the shadow from the waves. Japan's seas are mysterious, haunted by countless legends. But few are more feared than the Umei Bosu, described as a massive humanoid figure with smooth, bald skin and eyes like glowing stones. The Umei Bosu is said to appear suddenly on calm waters, before destroying ships without warning. According to legend, the moment a sailor speaks to the Umei Bosu, the creature becomes enraged, smashing the boat or demanding barrels to be filled with water. If denied, it capsizes the vessel. Some think these tales stem from sudden rogue waves or giant squids. Others suspect mass hallucinations caused by fear and exhaustion on open waters. But eerie similarities show up in modern accounts. Large, dark shapes rising during storms, strange noises, boats sinking under calm conditions. Could the Umei Bosu be a folkloric warning about respecting the sea, or a cryptid that still haunts Japan's coastal waters? Either way, if the sea falls silent and you see something rising, don't speak. Encantado, the shape-shifting river. Dolphin. In the Amazon, the locals speak of a beautiful stranger at village festivals. Charming, dressed in white, a master of music. But when the sun rises, he's gone, and so are the women. This is the legend of the Encantado, a shape-shifting dolphin spirit who takes human form, seduces villagers, and returns to the river by dawn. As strange as it sounds, this myth is tied to the Boto, or Amazon river dolphin. These pink-hued mammals are highly intelligent, and their strange, human-like faces may have inspired the story. Fishermen have reported botos approaching boats with eerie awareness. Some even claim they've seen them standing upright in shallow waters at dusk. Scientists have studied these creatures for years, but their behavior remains oddly elusive. Could the legend of the Encantado be based on something more than superstition? A case of animal intelligence crossing into the uncanny? In the Amazon, they don't mock the Encantado. They warn their daughters to be home before dark. We've explored the legends. We've uncovered the science. And yet, the ocean still holds 80% of its secrets. From the transparent-headed barrel to the spine-chilling sounds of the Bloop. One thing is certain. Myth doesn't always mean fiction. Maybe, just maybe, the monsters we fear were never made up. They were just waiting for us to find them. So the next time you stare into the waves or listen to the deep silence of the sea, ask yourself, what else is out there? This was No Chill Nature. Like, comment, and subscribe, because the wildest truths are still lurking beneath the surface.